Welcome back to another episode of Podcast P, presented to you by Prize Picks, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original. It is your guy, PG-13. I'm with my boys, Dallas Rutherford and Jackie Long.
Yeah.
And for this segment, we are bringing back story mode with one of the all-time greats. He is one of the best defensive players to ever touch the hardwood. And he's a New York legend. We got Metta World Peace in the building today.
My guy, man.
Appreciate you coming through, OG.
Welcome.
Yeah, man.
How you feeling? How you doing?
I'm feeling great, man. Thanks for having me.
Of
I
course.
watch your podcast. I've been watching all the podcasts. It's just been incredible to see this era of players evolve. You know, so yeah, everything's been great.
I've been loving it. We've been having current players. We've been having Hall of Famers. We've been having vets. We've been having, like, you name it. We've been having it. So we appreciate you coming through and blessing our platform. I do got to ask you this. I don't know if you remember this moment. We were playing, and I think you fouled somebody, and I'm trying to, cover for my teammate. And I'm like, man, review that. Like, check for if it was a flagrant. And you gave me a death stare. And do you remember this?
In Indiana?
I was in Indy, yeah.
I remember us going at it in Indy.
You was in this actually happened when we were in LA playing you guys.
LA.
You was on the Lakers. I was in Indy. I said something like, I said something to the ref, like, man, he hit him hard. That's like flagrant. And at the time, they was on you about, the fouls and excessive fouls and stuff like that. And so big picture, I didn't understand that, like, they could have suspended you or kicked you out the game. But you gave me a death stare, and I was like, damn, I fucked up.
And still regretted it?
I did.
Like, actually, never mind.
Yeah, it was
good.
It was good. He play on the ball. He had a good play on the ball. I don't know if you remember that moment.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But I was on eggshells for the last 14 years.
Yeah.
So I had to be. I had to be real easy in my career. Probably when you said that, I was probably like, damn, you're going to get me kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, any little thing with me back in the day, that's a tech, that's an ejection.
Right. But that's how you looked at me, like, motherfucker, you know what I'm dealing with right here.
How was the look? He shows the
You
look.
ratting them out?
It was just like that boy after this game. I can't do nothing right now. After this game, I'm gonna fuck you up. That's the look you gave me. And I was like, damn.
I was into it, man. I was so a little too intense, man. But
yeah.
I do miss it, but certain things I don't miss about the game, and then certain things I do. But overall,
Yeah.
super grateful. I miss the work in the gym.
Yeah.
I miss like the practice, the summertime where people don't see.
Mm-hmm.
And you retire, it's like I was working out when I retired, but I'm just like, man, I don't have nothing to do.
Yeah.
I'm working hard for nothing. I don't, why am I in the gym? Like,
Why am I working? What am I training for these
for
days?
what?
Yeah.
Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason.
You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Pick with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and baseball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app.
All right, Jackie, we're going to do a couple more or less projections for Friday's game. So we're going to start with the Knicks versus Pacers game tonight.
Okay.
So the first one's more or less Jalen Brunson, 30 points.
So I'm going more because he's been wilding out.
It's a good pick, good pick. More or less Miles Turner, 10 rebounds.
I'm going to go less.
Okay, more or less.
I'm going to go less with that.
Last one, more or less Josh Hart, 5 assists.
I'm going more because he out there doing everything.
Okay.
Now, I got one for you, Dallas. Your turn. Okay. I want to do projections for the WNBA games on Friday.
Switch it up a little bit.
Yeah,
I like it.
a little something different. I want to do more or less on DeWanna Bonner for 20 points.
20 points, I'm going to go less.
Okay, that's a good one. More or less on Jewel Lloyd for 8 rebounds.
8 rebounds, we'll go over, more.
Okay, that's a good one. More or less Alyssa Thomas, 10 assists. Now, that's a hard one.
10 assists seems pretty high. I'm gonna go less.
Okay,
I'm gonna go
that
less.
was a good one. Now, y'all see how easy that was? I mean, he did it, I did it. All y'all got to do is make your picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds on Prize Picks.
Download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. I repeat, go download the app today and use our promo code PodcastP for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Cha-ching! Now back to the show.
All right, so I do want to talk about MJ. When MJ was deciding to come back in 2001, he held it some pickup games, right? You played in one of the pickup games, and from that, MJ walks away with a broken rib. Can you give us any story of how that happened? What happened?
Yeah, the story would have never got out. I always tell the story, but it would have never came out if our good friend, which I don't really know, Sam Smith. I just like to soften things up, you know. But you know, the story came out that I punched Michael Jordan. This is in Chicago Tribune. So Ron Artest punches Michael Jordan. So when that happened, I'm like 19. I'm 20 years old at the time. So I'm devastated. I'm like, yo, the city's gonna hate me. This is my favorite player. You know, I'm an NJ fan. Like people, LeBron fans, are your fans now. Right. So I was devastated. But anyway, what happened was referees in the summertime pickup, like UCLA, but we're refs. You know, so they actually called the offensive foul on MJ. So I'm denying MJ, and MJ's strong. And the problem with MJ, I say this all the time, when you let him get the ball, he's gonna get a bucket.
Yeah.
So you can't let him get the ball. And I knew that as a defender, so I'm denying him. And he was holding me. And as he was holding me, I moved his arm out the way. My right elbow caught him in the ribs. And he didn't realize how, I was 19, but I was like, I came into the league 240 plus, right?
You was a grown man then.
So I hit him in the ribs. I see him go, right? So then he goes down. I think we might have missed or made a shot. He comes back down with the ball, little hezzy crossover, free throw line, game over, and then walks off
holding his
the
ribs.
court, holding his ribs. But before that, he averaged 25 that year. I think he would average 30 to 35, maybe 32. That he was cooking.
Yeah.
And I felt sick because I wanted to, although I was competing against him, I wanted to see him cook.
Right.
So he had to sit out 3 months and then had to heal. And I feel like if it wasn't for that,
he would have went crazy.
Y'all would have probably saw 30 at night. He was cooking. Yeah, man. But it was unfortunate.
So did you have a conversation with him after it happened?
So I was sick, right? So the story comes out. So I'm home. I'm staying in the bed. I'm not going to my summertime workouts. I'm just sick. I can't move out of my bed. So my agent's like, yo, you got to get to practice. Well, you've been missing practice. I said, yo, I'm kind of sad. Like, I broke MJ ribs and the story's out there. So he had MJ call me. And MJ called me and said, hey, don't worry about it, man. Things happen.
Okay, that's cool.
No,
you know, and got me like, I said, MJ, sorry, man. I didn't mean to do that. You know?
He didn't give you the death stare?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. He did. He actually asked me to come back. And when we was playing, it was like a bunch of guys was in the gym. But he didn't really know who I was until we was on the court. And I was working hard. And he was like, yo, come back every day.
Yeah. He needed that. Yeah, I did.
He said, come back every day.
After that call, though, you would be like, that was MJ.
Yo, yeah, you already know. I felt good.
Another pickup game that you were at was when a 15-year-old LeBron James was playing against a 38-year-old Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Give us some insight on what that looked like. Was LeBron picking up MJ, or just give us a story of that pickup run you were at?
Well, you know, everybody knew who he was. He was already famous. He was bigger than all of us in the gym. So he's coming into the gym. I'm like, all right, cool. I want to see what he got. He was cooking. Like, he was 15 or 16, posting, getting to the basket. And I'm like, this is going to be a huge issue.
Right.
You know? And for sure it was.
3 more years, huh?
3 more years. He right there.
Right.
He actually motivated. When I saw that, it motivated me. I'm like, I got to go to work. I mean, he coming in the league cooking. I was not like that at 15.
How old were you at that time?
I'm 5 years older than LeBron.
Okay.
So I was 20.
Okay.
20,
then maybe going on 21.
Yeah.
He was 15. He was watching
15. So you knew right away. Yeah, he
could have won pro right then, honestly.
Yeah. Really?
100%.
Was Michael trying to go at him at all? Because Michael must have been aware of who LeBron was. And
I played against LeBron. I think the time I played against, I think he was on Mike's team at one point. But I can't quite remember everything.
Yeah.
One time Barkley played, like I played against Barkley one time, which is crazy. But Antoine Walker, Michael Finley, Jerry Stackhouse, you know, they was all up in the building. Maybe Sam Cassell showed up, you know. But yeah, I don't remember them going at it.
So Chicago, that was in Chicago?
That was in Chicago.
So Chicago had some runs too.
Chicago had some runs. And then when you go like the Drew League of Chicago, Paul McPherson in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gym packed and Paul lit. Those games was like tough, and just like the
About
Drew
to
League.
say,
Yeah.
A little bit more
tough.
physical though.
A little more physical.
Yeah, a little more
I
physical.
can see that. A little bit more rowdy, a little bit more physical.
Ain't no
yeah.
punks in Chicago.
They're not playing around up there.
at all. Speaking of, I want you to take me, my boys, and everybody audience all the way back to the beginning. I need to know something, Metta, because you trying to have me on one. I want you to take us all to 12th Street, Queensbridge, when your dad used to have your ass out there in the snow, which I don't know why, doing workout drills and all this type of stuff. So I want you to just tell us basically what was the craziest workout that your dad put you through at that time in New York in the snow? Like, what the hell? What was
my
that all
dad.
about?
My dad was interesting, man. He would do a bunch of stuff. Like he would have us doing a duck walk. You
What's
sit
the
low,
duck
just
walk?
walk. It's like you sit low. It's
In
like
that
you sitting
stance.
down.
Yeah.
Like you just walking.
Ugh.
Have us walking around kind of the park.
I thought
Then we had to do the hot kind of stuff. And he would just trick us into working out. But he had us doing calisthenics early.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of trick us into doing calisthenics, and just different things. And then we played a lot of full court 1-on-1. That's where even my drills I did, when I was in the NBA, was all full court.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped me with my condition. I was wondering why I was always in shape, but I look back at it, it was the stuff I was doing with my dad in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And then the snow, you're not from the cold, but it'd be like pockets of ice. So you got to make sure, you're not walking on black ice, or sometimes you got to like
Mm-hmm.
do whatever you can to get the ice off the floor. And then at some point in time, you're going to stop moving the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to just work around it.
Right.
We'd be out there all night.
So
So
you
what-
used to the
yeah.
tough training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what kind of drills y'all was doing with the shooting if it was the snow? What the hell?
Well, my dad, he wasn't a pro. He didn't know no drills. It was more just playing.
Mm.
But he was
Oh.
super physical with me, at a young age. So, and he was tricking me into not giving up. Because he could have really bullied me. But sometimes he'll let me score,
Yeah.
make me feel like I'm stronger than my dad.
Yeah.
When I'm really not. But then when I became like 13, he couldn't beat me no more. About 13, maybe 14, he couldn't really beat me no more.
Yeah.
Then I had to take it easy on him. At 15, I had to
gonna hurt
be
him.
Dad.
So that because I heard stories, while I'm playing in Indiana, I heard stories of like, Metta used to practice with weighted vests on. And
Yeah.
like, was that just because of how you was brought up? Like you were used to tough training and making it tougher during practice?
Yeah.
Or was practice just not like you weren't getting enough out of practice that you had to? Like, what was the thought behind that? You wearing a weighted vest during practices?
Yeah, but in my prime, I practiced with a weight vest all summer, so I always practice like 50-pound weight vest. But
That's
but
tough.
in
50?
What?
That's tough.
50 is a lot.
50 pounds.
Like,
Getting out the
What?
bed with 50 pounds is tough.
so it's 280 if you were 240 or
I was-
two,
yeah, it
more
was-
than
it was-
that,
it was-
290.
Yeah, it was about that. Yeah, it was about that. But it was because like, I was trying to get better. Then at one point in time, like nobody could stop me. At one point in time, it was. So yeah, practices sometimes it was a little easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was like, trying to just make it as competitive as possible. Especially when I'm going 100 miles an hour.
Right.
I needed so the weights, made it a little bit more competitive.
Right.
But then at one point in time, we did have like Steven Jackson was pretty solid. Fred Jones in practice was pretty solid. Fred used to give me some work
Okay.
at times, But yeah, the weighted vest, I just wanted more work. And I'm in
I
the
was
gym
thinking,
all day.
like,
I
God
never
damn.
I'll be in the gym 3 a.m,
Yeah.
2 a.m, 3 a.m at the little side
That
gym.
little side brick gym, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right from the club to the gym.
You about to try that now, P? Put the vest on?
It's quiet.
Put a
for
little
that.
20, put a little 20-pound vest on.
I ain't got the frame for that.
Yeah, bro.
I'm only 225.
Come on. What did that vest help you to lose weight, run faster? What?
Nah, just like it's like you working out. It's like
Yeah.
a leg workout. It's like
But I would have to
full
imagine,
body.
like, once you get in the games, like,
Flying.
you feel like you jumping higher, you moving quicker,
Yeah,
just
moving
because,
quicker.
your movement you gotta feel.
Definitely, I felt quicker. I did a lot of agility. I did a bunch of stuff for my defense, but jumping high, I can every now and then jump high. It just depends.
Mhm.
Because I'm always playing defense, so I was low all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I'm ready to jump, I don't got no energy. My
Mhm.
legs is gone.
Mm-hmm.
But laterally, I was good. But jumping, I never had that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Got
I could never go straight up.
Got it. You went to LaSalle High School, right? Played with God Shammgod there. Then on your AAU team, Elton Brand, Lamar Odom. So you played with some, big time talent. You marked that time as a pivotal moment in a stage in your career where you learned how to be unselfish.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us a little bit about like what are you most the most memorable moments from playing at that time?
Yeah, it was incredible, man. Because like, I grew up just play hard, try to win, but not necessarily worry about the stats.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was with Shammgod, I would get like 4 points, 20 rebounds, 0 points, 16 rebounds. I was good with that.
Yeah.
Then when he left, I picked up the scoring a little bit, so I could score the ball. But then when I got to college, it wasn't my thing. I like to hustle, dive on the floor. It wasn't necessarily about scoring. With the AAU team, Elton was always the best. Lamar was always second best. Me and Eric Barkley was always third, tied, and there was a couple others.
Mm-hmm.
All city kids. And then we just passed the ball and give it to Elton, make sure he get the ball first. When Lamar want to do his thing, stay out Lamar's way. When we feel it, bring it over here, and we'll win by 50, 60 in championship games, and nobody looked at the score.
Mm-hmm.
We averaged it up one time at the end of the season. Elton was at 14. Lamar was at 13. I was at 12-something. Eric was at 12-something.
Y'all was just balanced.
Yeah, it's super balanced. And so when I got, when you get to the league and, people not just playing the right way, it was kind of frustrating a little bit. And then I felt like my defense was incredible, but I wasn't getting the recognition on television like everybody else is. But I'm locking this dude up. I had 20 deflections tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But they not really seeing
Right.
that.
That's before they even charted deflections.
Before they even charted it. They used to keep track of, Indiana, they keep track of the deflections.
Exactly, yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I was always like, how many deflections I had tonight? Which that's super exciting to me. But when I found out like that wasn't cool and I wasn't going to be an all-star, that's when I really went in the gym, worked on my game. I could score the ball, just wasn't interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I became good at scoring, so I just kind of stuck with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I read y'all went 69-1 that summer, right? So y'all really didn't face, y'all probably faced competition, but y'all pretty much steamrolled. The team y'all lost to actually was Team California that had the twins and Baron Davis.
Yeah.
Who was the toughest team that y'all went against? I mean, y'all lost to them, but like who was the toughest at that time that y'all matched up against?
Man,
he was like, oh, this dude is a problem.
We winning championships by 50, like, and everywhere.
Yeah.
30, 60, so I can't even remember who we played against, honestly.
Right.
We was blowing everybody up because, I'm picking up 90 feet, Eric Barkley picking up 94 feet, so I actually learned how to play defense from Eric Barkley. So we doing that the whole game, and we up 30, we not stopping, we up. So it was like, they wasn't really ready for that. Then you got Lamar, who's playing the 2 and the 1 at 6'11". So it was like, it was really hard.
How you stopping that?
Elton was like a beast.
Right.
They sleep on his career.
Right.
And we just submitted to each other, and it was just team basketball, passing, cutting, a lot of, fundamentals, head fakes, and, super advanced players. But Baron Davis team, they beat us. We beat them in the championship by 20 though. So we came back.
Okay.
So
y'all got the get back.
But Barry wasn't there.
Oh, BD didn't play that one.
He wasn't there.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I gotta see that. He gonna hit me up and be like, "Yo,
Why you
tell the whole story?"
Tell the whole story.
Because I wasn't there.
There's another legendary AAU team that included Tim Thomas, Vince Carter, Kobe, and Rip Hamilton. How do you think the Riverside Hawks would have matched up with that squad?
We actually crossed quite a few times.
Okay.
So I played with a team called Aim High, Kenny Smith team.
Okay.
I played for his team too as a kid. So played against Kobe for the first time, and I didn't realize Rip was on that team. I was with Shammgod, Shaheen Holloway. So I was a young boy. Then Kobe had about 30 going into the 4th, something like that. Then they put me on him. They took me out. They put me on him, and I always tell him about this game. R.I.P. Kobe. I always tell him about this game. I said, remember I was guarding you and I had to hold you down a little bit? He was like, no way, man. I still have 40. He said, in fact, I scored all on you. I said, nah, that was Sham and Shaheen. But they beat us that game. And then I played against Tim Thomas in another tournament called Portsmouth, which was the toughest tournament I played in. And he had about 40. But I never quite played against them together.
Yeah.
But it would have been good. Rip Hamilton wasn't no slouch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have been a tough
matchup.
Yeah,
huh?
tough matchup.
Did you know about Kobe at that time? Like you mentioned when LeBron was 15, and I don't know how old you were or how old Kobe was at that time, but were you aware of Kobe at that time? Like, oh, I'm about to match up with Kobe.
Not really. I played against Kobe. He was 15, I was 14. So but they kept calling him the next Grant Hill.
The next
So they were
Grant
saying we're
Hill.
playing against the next Grant Hill today.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, you know what I mean? And so he was definitely the next MJ, but,
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I never heard that one.
and I didn't even watch basketball.
But Grant, I mean,
So I
shit,
didn't know.
that's
No, Grant
that ain't
Hill was nice, but I'm
that's
just
what
saying.
Grant
I
Hill
never,
was
out of all
a true-
these years, I never.
still a great
Yeah.
comparison. Yeah.
Grant was still, baby.
Just to stay on that a little bit, so because y'all chemistry was great, y'all it had to be great. Did y'all all grow up knowing each other? As far as like you, EB, LO,
Yeah,
you
Eric Barkley.
went to high school with Shammgod, but
Mhm.
did y'all all just grew up knowing each other, or how
Right.
did that kind of form? Y'all playing on the same AAU team and that chemistry translating?
Yeah, man. Elton was in peak. The first time I played against Elton Brand, I was at 5-star basketball camp. I was like 13 years old. So I see this kid, he had a big hole in his shoe. I remember I had a hole in my toe. I had 2 holes in my shoe. He had a bigger one.
Yeah,
Right? So I'm like, damn, this dude needs shoes. So I was playing against him and we were just battling. He was strong. I wasn't as big as he was, but I was also strong. And he played he was mobile, could move. Damn, I'm like, damn, I said, good game, man. I said, I got some shoes for you. But those shoes had a hole in it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
just not as big
I was
as
like, he was like, nah, I'm good. And then that's where we kind of, built our relationship. And then a couple summers you play against these different teams in the Riverside Church, they'll call you up.
Mm.
I played against Lamar for the first time. He was 11 years old. But he had another dude named Raheem Johnson on his team that was nice. He was like Shea Cotton, Raheem Johnson, Tracy McGrady. That was the top. But you didn't hear about Shea. Shea didn't go
Him
on.
being out West Coast.
And Raheem was the same way like Shea, same type player.
Mm.
So, and then I played against Lamar. He grew 6 inches one summer. And we all became on the same team about the age 13, 14. And we played for 3 years together.
Okay.
And we just naturally, Riverside Church is a great organization, good fundamentals, but we just vibe. Everybody was feeling each other and, just pressing and not necessarily worrying about who scores.
Right.
I don't even know. Some games I probably didn't even score, honestly, but it was just that type
it was
of
all
vibe.
about winning
You
at that
didn't
point.
You didn't like scoring anyway.
Yeah.
Like defense.
I always tried to do that. I always tried to see if I could play, be the best player on the floor without scoring.
Mm.
I tried to do that in
Dope.
the NBA a couple times. I just
Yeah,
won't even take a shot. I did a couple times. Lock somebody up,
yeah.
and
Try to
get
dominate.
0 points.
Yeah.
Not even get a
That's
rebound.
dope.
Let my other teammates get the rebound. I had 4 rebounds, but I dominated the game.
Yeah.
You've mentioned defense and physicality, and that's kind of what you were known for as a kid, it sounds like. That was, the fun part of basketball for you. When you watch today's NBA, what do you think of how the game has changed? Defensively, you can't be as physical. Is it hard for you to kind of watch some of these games, the way that it's officiated? What are your thoughts on today's NBA defense compared to how you grew up playing?
Well, when I first retired, everybody that first retired, you're automatically a hater. Right?
Okay.
So for the young guy, it's not that we're hating, but we want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Your first year out, you want to get it. You want to still play. So you're like, man, they soft.
Yeah.
But I had to catch myself because the rules changed, and I'm watching these young guys, and I'm like, hold on, the young guys is not soft. The rules has changed. But you look at it right now. Look at these Knicks. Look at some of the games. Look at Anthony Edwards. Look, Paul. He a lockdown defender. So I don't think it's the players. I think it's the rules.
The rules.
If you went back to the '90s rules right now, especially right now, you'll see a different game.
Mm-hmm.
Your players want the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't. A lot of people's blaming the players. You can't really blame the players. And I don't want to call out the committees, but it's the rules. It's not necessarily the players.
It ain't the refs.
Well, the refs are.
I was just saying.
Refs have been a little. I don't know if you've been it's a little iffy.
I honestly think refs should have to play a game of full court at once a week.
At least.
Once a week.
Just
You
like,
get
Bro,
out
that's
there.
a foul. No, it wasn't.
to know what they going
Yeah.
to
Yeah, you can't just be showing up, coming from hiking. Nah, you got to play the game.
Coming from hiking.
Even if you ain't got no left, you got to play the game just to see.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just to know if that's the right call. I was at the park. He didn't do that.
And what's crazy to me? They're traveling though.
Yeah.
Do y'all talk about that as players right now? You're in the league.
Nah, not really.
I don't understand how somebody could take the ball out and take 5, 10. That's where I'm like,
Losing that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm losing it on the couch.
I feel like
Yeah.
they're doing that
I don't
intentionally
understand.
sometimes. Like how many steps can I
think
take
so
before
too. I think people are doing that.
Before
LeBron
I
got the
can dribble.
most.
Yeah, like they pass it in bounds and the dude's calling. Russ has done it. There's
Russ
a lot.
has done
Kyrie,
it.
I think,
Bron's
has
done it. Where he's directing all this shit while
Just-
walking with it. then dribbles like.
You know what's crazy? I've been talking to like fans or just different fans, and they even noticing that.
Yeah.
That's probably the one thing I don't like about the game. Like, just call it travel. He took 5 steps.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I don't want to keep watching this.
Right.
I'm a super fan too, though.
There's some stuff that goes on, and you kind of just like, what? Like even like during games, like I'll notice stuff during games, and like I don't know if they don't see it because that's what they'll tell you. Like, oh, I didn't see it, but like sometimes it's like, damn, that shit was like clear.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't notice that?
So you got drafted to the Chicago Bulls the same year I graduated high school, which was in '99.
Dang.
And you went. Don't do that. Don't do that, Dallas. And you went on to start 63 games. I just want to know, what was the atmosphere like being in the house that Michael Jordan built, man? Like, tell me that. Put me in there. Put me in there.
Incredible, man. He's my favorite player. You know what I mean? I mean, he's to this day, if I see Mike, you know, it's going to be awkward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because, you know, it's like even the generation behind. And when I got drafted by the Bulls, that was my favorite team, even though I wanted to go to the Knicks. But that was my favorite team. So I get drafted by the Bulls, and I'm just like, this is a fucking dream. Like, you know, I want to do exactly what Mike did. I knew I wasn't as good as Mike, but in my effort, I was just working hard, different things like that. And just getting into the arena, you know, it was kind of hard to deal with. At the same time, I was doing a lot of wild stuff in Chicago. I didn't really maximize that opportunity because I should have been in Chicago for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
They told me they wanted to keep me, but I was always getting in a lot of trouble out there. And I remember when I got traded on the bus at Miami, got traded on the bus, and I just, you know, kind of reflected, like, damn, I done messed this up. But, you know, just being in Chicago, it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I met MJ in Chicago. He came to one practice before, and just watching him, you know, you're 19 years old, you just like.
Right. Just admiring him, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of the wild shit, I heard there were times at halftime where you were sipping on the yak. And you would go out and play. Like, is there truth to that story?
It's not like anything where I would want to recommend or encourage, but just being honest, you know. Yeah, I was, sometimes I would just go, we were losing a lot, and I was going through a lot at the time, but it's super unacceptable at the same time. Deserves a suspension. If anybody think they want to, you know.
Want to try and do
something wild, they should be suspended. But, I was tripping. I would just walk up the tunnel and just go to the little spot right there.
So you so you still in warm up, still in game gear. At halftime, you will go up, grab some yak, some Henny, go back to the locker room, swig it, and then you back on the court for the second half.
I did that like once or twice.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, have I told this is I know you don't want to encourage
They can
this.
still find me. If they want to find me, I'll pay the bread. I'm not encouraging that.
It's good you said that, but have I told you the story? I remember when that report came out, and I just got in some trouble and got kicked out of CSUN, and I was at Moore Park, and that's when the story came out. And you know my buddy Spencer, I'm not proud of this moment, but since you're here, I remember that story happening, and me and Spence were like, no way, bro. And I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm like, I got to try this.
No way.
So we had a game. It was this big tournament. We were playing like Antelope Valley, and I bought a bottle of Grey Goose, and I called Spencer over in the locker room, and he's like, bro, are you serious? I'm like, come on, let's do it, bro. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And so we took a couple shots before the game. I ended up having a good game. Spence got yanked out the game immediately. Coach is yelling at him, but I wanted to.
It don't work.
It didn't work.
Pretty
It
good.
don't work.
How'd you play after?
Honestly, I don't remember. But when I stopped drinking, I started to play way better.
Okay.
Like after Chicago, I was actually going through a lot. I had my baby at 16. I had my next baby at 19 going into the league.
Okay.
I had another one at 21, you know what I mean? So, so I'm a kid in Chicago, just got drafted.
You living a dream at that point.
Living the dream, and then also just like a lot of
stuff.
baggage. It was hard to think. I couldn't think, and just like, I can't. I'm not having fun playing the game. Like, I'm in the gym, I'm working hard, but it's like something was missing. I would go to Cabrini Green. I would go to Robert Taylor. Just like, I'm not next to Queensbridge no more, so I needed like something was missing. And then also I didn't understand how to raise a family at that time. Even though I love my family, I was happy. I made my babies and all that stuff, but it was a crazy time for me in Chicago.
Yeah. So it's kind of just like the growing up. You were figuring out how to like accept the new reality of being a professional athlete, balancing all of this shit out.
Yeah, trying to balance it. Just couldn't really balance it at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, super difficult.
Yeah, don't do that, kids at home. No, don't drink the yak at half.
I actually played with a dude in a rucker. His name was Terminator. Terminator would have some malt liquor, 40 ounce.
Yeah.
Go get 40. Be doing every time out on Fat Joe team, swinging it.
Yeah.
And go get 40.
Have you seen the video of the dude that went viral doing the hookah? Yeah.
I ain't seen it.
Playing ball?
Yeah, playing ball.
I think
like
it might be in New York too.
I think it was in New York. So it's like a street ball game going on. And I don't know if he like scored or he did something. He running back. Somebody's on the sideline smoking hookah. So he runs over.
Oh my goodness.
Get the hookah. Then he get right back into the game.
That
Got a
deserves a fine.
deflection. I think he stole the ball.
like that. He was
LeBron made a great play.
He said it deserves a fine.
This episode is sponsored by Coinbase. Coinbase is the best and easiest place to get started with crypto.
Coinbase is the most trusted, only publicly traded crypto exchange. And honestly, the best way to get started learning about crypto is simply to try it.
That's all I did. It's easy to buy a little crypto and get started investing with as little as $20. It's also a great place to learn about crypto. Get the latest crypto news directly.
You might have heard of Bitcoin, which was the world's first cryptocurrency and still the most popular. But Coinbase has over 200 digital assets on its platform you can trade, including Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Dogecoin, and many more.
Fans of this podcast get $20 in Bitcoin when you sign up and make a trade today using promo code PODCASTP at coinbase.com/partner/podcastp. Coinbase, crypto moves money forward. Everyone's got a thirst, a drive to be the next big thing, to put the world on notice. And for me, to be one of the best basketball players on the court every night. So if you answer when your thirst calls, Sprite's for you.
Well, you know it is for me then. So delightful.
Oh, that's good.
My drive has got me to where I am today as an actor, and Sprite is for the makers and the creators like myself. The visionaries that put in the work to build their dreams, whether you're shooting a cinematic masterpiece on your phone or filling notebooks with sketches or up all night turning your bedroom into the booth. Keep going, because thirst is everything.
Having equity and being a managing partner in my own mortgage company at the age 35 has quenched my thirst to be as successful as I wanted, but even that hasn't stopped my drive towards greatness. Sprite is made for those who thirst for success and are working to make their dreams a reality.
So keep going and remember to be true to yourself. Obey your thirst, Sprite.
You got me a little confused with something I'm about to ask you, because I didn't understand it. But I'm gonna ask you this. During your rookie season, when it was over, during the summer, you decided to get a job at Circuit City. Now, a lot of people might not know what the hell Circuit City is. I do. So I need you to do two things for me. Explain to the people out there what the hell is Circuit City, and tell me why, if I'm an NBA player, I got a job, why am I working at Circuit City? Please explain this to me,
Circuit
please.
City's classic.
It was actually during the season.
Oh, wow.
So I had too much time on my hand, too much time. Like, now you got a little bit of money. Now you could go buy a drink. Now you could do whatever you want to do.
Right.
For me, I got drafted 16th, so that was like $1 million. That was $999 back in 19. I remember it got inside $1 million first year contract. So you feel like Bill Gates, you're like, damn. This is incredible, right? So, but I was getting in a lot of trouble. Like I said, I had my children. So I was like, I got too much time on my hand. I need to do something. So it made me go to Circuit City. I was going there all the time, and the discounts. So I would go to Circuit City just to chill out. I had nothing else to do. Practice is over. I'm out the gym. Just look at the DVDs. When that was hot, just walk around, and then I'm like, damn, I need a little discount because I'm paying for these DVDs. Yeah, I feel like Bill Gates, but when you look at your contract, like, hold on, I can't keep buying these many DVDs. So if I can work at Circuit City, I get this discount. So it only lasted one day.
I was about to say, how long did you work at Circuit City?
I was there for like 1.5 days.
Okay.
1.5
Because once it came out in the news, Jerry Krause called me in the office.
What are you doing?
What was that conversation?
What was that conversation like?
What are you doing?
He's like, yeah, why are you working at Circuit City? I said, well, I'm trying to get a discount on these DVDs, and You know, I'm bored. Like, I don't have nothing else to do. You know what I mean? And he was like, nah, you can't work at Circuit City. I was like, all right, cool.
You should have told his ass, give me a raise. Man. Shit. Tell
he
me
asked for a little, man, slide me a couple of these DVDs there, man.
Circuit City, hilarious.
Ah, yeah, that's crazy.
Circuit. Do they still got Circuit City?
No, it's over.
Nah,
it might be Fries.
That's what I remember.
Yeah,
was
but even
around
Fries,
Pasadena.
I think they just discontinued Fries, which is dude, Fries in Circuit Cities was fun to go to.
Yeah.
I used to love
as a
Circuit
kid.
City.
But everything's online now. You don't even.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
still, they did a good job in those Circuit Cities.
No, they
and
did.
Fries.
They did.
Everything's
So they're
love
kind of like the Best Buys and stuff too,
you can
right?
buy any wash machines and like I think
Okay,
get
so like just
stuff like
electronics.
that.
You could go build a
Electronic stuff,
computer in
yeah.
there, get all the gadgets.
yeah,
You could get
yeah.
anything you needed that was
That's
electronic on there. Like
Yeah, yeah.
anything.
Circuit City.
You just mentioned how you were on the bus and you ended up getting traded to the Indiana Pacers in a 7-player deal, and you end up joining Reggie Miller and Jermaine O'Neal. And so during that first season with them, how would you describe your relationship with those two? And I think you've admitted that you were a little bit, antisocial when you kind of got there. What was that like, getting traded to a new team? You're still young and just a whole new experience for you.
Well, the losing, I feel like we didn't have to lose as many games we did. There was one point in time I wasn't starting, which was like, in Chicago, I'm like, this is ridiculous. The people that's in front of me is no way.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't realize they were tanking, so that just weighed on me. I'm like, we for sure can win 30-plus games. I'm locking a lot of all-stars down, So when I got traded, to Indiana, I was reflecting. I was like, damn, I'm like messing my career up. I'm like savage. I'm like thinking about all this stuff, and I'm still going through a lot at that time. So when I got to Indiana, it felt new. We had a chance to go to the playoffs. We was out the playoffs. We won 5 in a row. So I actually made an impact. I think I was starting at that point too, and but I was still in my head. So I'm coming to practice. I'm putting that work in, executing. That's what I've been doing my whole career, playing team ball. So people like that. But at the same time, my first year, I wasn't getting in no trouble, but I was super introverted. I wasn't necessarily going out. Yo, we going out, let's go get some lunch. No, I'm just gonna go back to my room. You know what I mean? Go back to my room and deal with what I gotta deal with, in my head and stuff like that as a young player. And then what I didn't realize was the alcohol is like a depressant. So you trying to release some stress and you don't understand the science behind it. All right, that's gonna pile up. So some days you feeling bad just because of alcohol. It's not you.
Right.
It's just like, you gotta ease up. And then I wasn't doing therapy at that point either.
Right.
So the first year was cool. We went to the playoffs, played pretty well. Isaiah Thomas was coaching us. And then, then the following years, I just didn't address all that stuff that was built up. But Jermaine he always reached out. I always talk about that. Jermaine always reached out no matter what. He would see things wrong with me too. Yeah, yo, you don't want to come out? Al Harrington, Al. They always treated me like little bros, like all the time.
Yeah.
And then when Stat came, and I still was like, nah, I'm going to my room. I never really hung out.
Yeah.
Well, like I would have liked to. But now I go to Dallas, I hit up Jermaine like, yo, let's go get something.
Yeah. So do you kind of regret? Do you regret going through that? Do you regret damn, maybe I could have opened up a little more, or maybe who knows what happens if I would have fully immersed myself amongst the team? Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because being a team player, I'm so outgoing, but when I'm playing on the court, I just want to compete. So even in practice, my mind is like, I can't wait to get in practice. I can't wait to get back to practice after the game is over. And the only one I can compete against is the players there. So, and then I'm thinking about, I can't wait to tomorrow to get in their ass again tomorrow. So I'm not necessarily thinking about, oh man, I can't wait to go have some lunch. But because for me, it's like, if I don't work hard today, then there is no tomorrow. So I got to go home. I got to get rest, get back to practice. When honestly, I think there is a tomorrow. Like you should spend that time with your teammates, spend that time with your family. Like I would never even go to the mall. My family want to go to the mall. I said, nah, I got to get rest. I'm in the bed off my feet. Unless I'm going out partying.
Right. It's either or.
I save time for that. I did save my friends, but not like my teammates. It would be like my friends from back home. Cause Queens was the biggest neighborhood in America, biggest federal housing project. So I got so many friends. So, when I'm not on the court, I'm trying to where my friends at. And I got so many of them all over. So it's like you want to spend time with your friends, but I think if I could do it over, I would spend more time with my teammates.
I know Reggie Miller said his biggest failure was not getting you and Jermaine on the same page because he felt y'all could have won multiple titles. You said one. Jermaine was reaching out to you, but where did that relationship, like why didn't that coexist between y'all two?
It was just me. I was going through too much.
Okay.
Like Reggie did it. Reggie reached out to me too. Hey, Ron, come to dinner. You come to the house. Like, nah, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I never even had plays at my house. So you imagine that.
Right. I
can't remember one time a play was at my house.
Really?
No. Well, especially when I was going through what I was going through. But then as I was coming out of it, I was just raising my kids and stuff like that. Then it became natural, which is like not normal. I've been to Bynum's house. A couple players came over. Jameson Brewer. Mm-hmm. We had a good relationship. But it was like I was going through so much at that time. Mm-hmm. When I get into the game, I just really can't wait to get the game over with. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go do what I got to do. I can execute. I don't necessarily need to score. We good.
Right. But what about, because I know the culture in Indy, from playing there and being there, the culture in Indy was, Indy is a slower pace city. It's not much to do. But while you're there, I think basketball is highlighted and extremely emphasized because there's nothing else to do but work on your craft. Yeah. So a lot of times after practices, like we'll spend another hour just shooting the shit, working out, getting up shots, or we might just be on the sidelines just talking for an hour. Like there wasn't no like moments of you spending time with the teammates then?
After practice, I went right to the court. So after practice over, I'm in the gym. I'm not leaving for another hour and a half, but I'm working.
But you working, okay.
Yeah, I'm working. Then I'm going to the weight room. That little weight room. Mm-hmm. Then I'm there. I'm the last one to leave that.
Okay. But it still ain't no time to like
yeah, there was time, but my mind's like, there is time, but like you can overdo it. So, overtraining. Mm-hmm. I overtrained the majority of my career, especially in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. I overtrained. But you thinking like I said, I need to be in the gym. I got to get better. I got to get better. You're not necessarily thinking about building a friendship.
Right.
And I wasn't, when I got older, I said, okay, I'm going to work out. I'm not going to overtrain, have more time to hang out with my family, have more time to hang out with my friends. But when I was younger, I wasn't really thinking like that. Mm-hmm. So I didn't build luckily Jermaine and Al are still my friends. Yeah. But I didn't build a lot of friendships.
Shout out to them. I do before we go to the next subject, I do want to give you flowers on, because, obviously I got drafted to Indiana.
Yeah.
And you talked about it, the whole deflections and stuff like that. And it was almost like the spirit of Metta was still in Indiana with the way people talked about, you being there, your hard work. And I remember this story. I had like a little, I don't know if they were doing this on purpose, but I had a little like, I think it was like my ankle or something. Something was bothering me. And immediately they was just like, yeah, we used to love when Metta here, like the guy would play through anything. Like, anything that hurt, like he's playing through it. They spoke about this with you and Stack. And I came away from that like, fuck it, I got to play through all this shit. And so I never like that moment kind of set the tone for my first couple years of being there of like, that's how we do things here. You know what I mean? That's how Metta built the foundation here. And a lot of people, of course, Reggie was the face in the franchise. But for a lot of the positive shit there, they speak highly of your time there. And so I honestly do think like you kind of laid the foundation for when I got there without you even knowing this at all.
Yeah,
you kind of set a foundation there. Yeah, but I mean, was Josh Corbill still there?
Yeah, we said yeah.
Okay, so that's who would tell me all these stories.
Yeah, I played through so many injuries there, and I'm thinking like if I played through injuries, I'm thinking teams gonna see that he played through injuries.
Yeah.
But what was happening was my point production was going down because like I don't play for points.
Right.
Like when I had the surgery on his finger, I was supposed to be out 6 weeks. I was only out 5 days. Mm-hmm. I would just play. I just wrapped it up. Mm-hmm. When I had my heart surgery, I came right back in the gym. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really care about missing a shot.
Right.
I'm just trying to. I could play my right hand.
Right. You're gonna get whatever you can.
Yeah, play my right hand. Whatever the case may be. But the problem was average going down, shooting 32% some games. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But and if I could do it over, I probably wouldn't have played.
Yeah.
Through a lot of injuries, honestly.
You think just because for the longevity of how you felt towards the end, or just for the production?
That's the production piece, because your stats.
Right.
Oh, you have this.
At the end
your
of the day,
numbers.
that's what they're gonna judge you on.
They're gonna judge you on your numbers. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was even when I had my meniscus surgery. I was supposed to be out 6 weeks. I was only out 5 days. I came back. I was playing in 5 days.
Sound like me. I did the same thing.
I hate saying no.
I was back.
Yeah. I think that's what people like, because that's kind of how and especially me during that time being young in Indiana, that's what people didn't really understand, that like, I didn't care, they would come up with this of like, oh, his numbers are dropping, he's shooting this percentage now. I didn't care because I knew how I was impacting the game. Like, I didn't look at the game as like, I'm just an offensive player. If you look at the guys, like not many people was guarding the best players every night, whether it was point guards, I'm fighting, chasing through screens. I'm like dog tired, but I know, shit, I got to play offense too. So sometimes offense wouldn't go just because my legs was heavy.
Yeah, definitely.
My arms was heavy, like, and I don't think people understand that part of it.
Yeah.
When it comes, because now, the best offensive player, they gonna guard, they might still play defense, but they gonna guard the second best or the third best weapon on the other team.
Yeah.
So they're saving some energy, so their offensive numbers are looking better.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
shout out to the real ones that actually compete on both ends, and your production is gonna drop if you're playing both sides hard as you can.
It's gonna drop. I wish they would see that, but it's gonna. Actually, my last year with the Lakers, I led in plus minus. But I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they wasn't really looking at that.
Right.
Right. I like that, those type of stats.
That'll get you $100 million now. That plus minus get you $100 million now. You talked about the heart surgery and then coming back and playing in less than a week. Like how did that happen? Like how?
So what happened was I got to Indiana and they discovered I had a valve that was leaking into my lungs. But so this whole time I'm playing, I get tired quick. But people don't even see that. I get tired quick. So I didn't realize that was the issue. So Chicago kind of didn't see it. Indiana caught it. And Donnie Walsh, I was in Donnie Walsh's office. He said, yo, you're going to have to get surgery on your heart. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, let's just get this done right now so I can be back in a year from now. So Mark Bartelstein, he said, Metta, I ain't letting them cut you open. I said, let's just get the surgery. He said, nah, I'm not letting them cut you open. So initially, they was going to go through my chest. Then he found out they can go through my underarm pit. And then he said, nah, I'm not letting them go through your underarm. Mark found a doctor where they could go through my artery in my thigh.
Really?
Yeah, he went through.
Oh my God.
So I went from being out a year and a half to it was a 40-minute procedure, maybe a 50-minute procedure. Put me to sleep, plugged up the hole. Then I spit up blood.
Yeah.
So now, and then so then the doctor said, okay, stay out about a week. You're gonna be all right. I drive back from Chicago hospital, I got surgery, drive right to the Pacers gym. I drive right to the gym. I start working out, push-ups, shooting, running. And then I see my heart, like I literally see it on my chest, like, oh shit.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh shit. I call Mark. I said, yo, Mark, my heart fucked up right now. He said, what you doing? I said, I'm in the gym. So I called my doctor. And then the doctor was like, so what's going on? Tell me what's going on. He said, where are you? I said, I'm in the gym. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm working out. He cursed me out. Get the F out the gym. They're not telling you don't work out. So then I took off. But that was in the summertime.
Okay.
I just couldn't wait to get back to the gym.
Get back to the gym.
Yeah, like every second, like you need that.
But did immediately, like, because how long from the time you took off to when you got back to like actually working out again was that?
Oh, after the heart surgery?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was about a week. And then my average just shot up.
Okay. Did you notice like, oh, okay, my wind is a little better?
It was incredible.
Okay.
I went from averaging 18 to 24 right before I got suspended.
Okay.
My win was, I never felt so good.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Shout out to the Pacers, because I think to this day it's the shout out my Clippers medical team. My Thunder medical team. But I think out of the Pacers medical team was special. Like it was one of the best medical teams that I've had, and they were just on it. They knew their stuff. Was Dan Direct there as well? Ball guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to that medical team.
So you and Paul Pierce had some great battles during your early days in Indiana, and Jermaine had mentioned on your Doc Quiet Storm that you didn't necessarily like Paul Pierce, and you took that matchup personally. Why was that assignment so important to you?
Well, they all was important, You know, they was some of the best at the time, and we was trying to do our thing too. We was trying to win a title. We wasn't, you know, that was the only thing on our mind. You know, we wasn't thinking about nobody really individually, but with me and Paul. Paul's just tough. Paul, he wasn't as heavy as me, but he's a big player. He getting off too. He had good games, I had good games. You know, so it wasn't necessarily Paul. It was just like we both trying to win the Eastern Conference. We got to get home court advantage. At that time, we were thinking about like we got to get home court advantage. You know, and so it was a natural rivalry, you know, that we had. But it wasn't that I ain't necessarily like him. He was just good.
Right.
Because I'm trying to stop him and he just getting, and every time somebody score on you, you know, for me, it was like end of the world when somebody get a bucket. And Paul's just talking and Paul's talking all the time.
He talk.
Paul starts the game talking, which was surprising because a lot of people wasn't talking trash, you know, but it was definitely some great battles for sure.
Yeah.
He actually broke my tooth. He pushed my head on the floor one time and my tooth came out in Boston. I'm like, Paul he's a little dirty too.
Yeah.
You got to pants him, so you got him back.
I did
get him back.
I love that moment where I think Al Harrington was guarding him and Paul talking shit while Al's guarding him. That was a great moment,
dope.
I think. That was a great moment.
Al actually switched me off. I got him.
Yeah.
But he was cooking both of us that day. I ain't gonna lie, he was cooking both of us.
I want to ask you, take you back to at the end of the season in Indiana when you became the first wing player to win an award that I hope my boy get one day. You know, defensive player.
They get at the bigs now.
You might get it, P. You never know. Defensive Player of the Year award. But at this time, I just want to say it was the second person to do it since Michael Jordan, and that was unbelievable. So I just want to ask you, we all know how hard it is to play defense, first of all. So what do you think your attributes was to get that Defensive Player award? Like, what did you do, man?
It was definitely, and it was in an era, because they tried to downplay my career. You know, they tried to downplay it. But it was in an era where they was there. When they say the dinosaurs walked the earth, we know who was there in 2004. They was there. They were there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but from that perspective, and even when I got the DPO, I always wanted that award. I wanted the MVP, but you know, you want everything. You try to get it, you can't. But the year before that, I think I would have got it. But I led the league in flagrants and techs. Had a lot of different issues. Ben got it. Ben got it 2 years actually prior. Then I got it. Then the year after that, I got suspended. I was still the best defensive player in the league. And I was averaging 8 points more. 6 points more. And I was, you know, so, but in terms of the defense, I was working out in the summertime. I you know, before I pick up a ball, I'm 45 minutes just cardio. When I get into the gym every day. So I'm doing my slides, you know, those boring slides you do, whatever they call it. I do those every day. Yeah, just training myself to be able to play, you know, on both sides. Because at this point now you got, you know, Kobe's playing incredibly well. T-Mac is playing incredibly well. It's like, damn, how am I going to compete against that?
Right.
So I need to do something. So I guess I'm just going to run and maybe try to lock people up. You know, then I was able to guard the guards. I was able, you know, to guard faster guards. I wasn't as fast as them, but my endurance was, I had more endurance.
That's that weight vest.
Yeah.
It's that weight vest.
And I had so much endurance. So in a low guard, if you're not in the gym, yeah, you might be quicker, but in the fourth quarter,
right, you can wear down.
You're gonna take a break, and I'm not taking a break. I'm like, oh,
right. It's just constant pressure.
Defense.
Yeah.
After you guys end up losing to the Pistons, right? And at that moment, you took the loss. You didn't take the loss well. It was kind of a gut punch. You were contemplating retirement at that moment. What was the conversation when you talked to the Pacers that, you know, you were having with them after that moment?
Yeah, man, I was kind of, I don't know, I was going through a lot at that time. So when I got back after the offseason, I had a good offseason.
Of training?
Training, great offseason. Then working with Bird. You know, Bird actually took my game to the next level. But I was still going through a lot at the practices. You know, and I was going to practice with Bird every day. I stayed in Indiana because, like, I was able to just escape a lot of other stuff. You know, so I'm with a Hall of Famer, so it was just incredible. And then one day I woke up and said, damn, I just need to retire. Because my situation at home as a young dad, I didn't like how type of parent I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, I said, I'm gonna retire, just fix it all up, focus strictly on the family, then come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, keep the money. I wasn't even thinking about the money. I'm like, just like, let me retire and we'll figure something out when I get back. But then I played, and then sure enough, the brawl happened. So I almost wish I would have retired
Yeah.
for a year. Because it would have been two bad stories, but at least I wouldn't have been in the brawl.
Yeah. So you was following MJ for real, wanting to retire and then come back.
I mean, at some point I wanted to come back. I wanted my mind to be right.
Yeah.
My mind.
Because you were then what,
right.
mid 20s at this point?
I was 23. I was
earlier.
Like 23, 23. Yeah, right after. Yep.
Speaking on the brawl, it's almost 20 years since it has happened, and I know it was crazy when I watched it, and I was like, man, what is going on? This is NBA. Like,
you were in high school?
I was in high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably like, let me see,
2004.
I was like 14 then. Yeah, like I might have been a freshman or maybe 8th grade. I don't know. You were in high school.
Yeah, I think I was a freshman.
I might have been.
I would think I was in 9th grade or something like that.
I was shooting at that time.
But almost 20 years since it happened, and from the older perspective of it now, hindsight of it all, I know you speak of regretting it and how it kind of put a dampen on your early career. Have you ever gotten to like? I'm sure you found peace with it all happening and putting all the pieces together with that moment happening, right?
Well, took a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, that was one more defensive player, one more first team all defense. I was going to be an all-star again. I already made 13 more NBA before that. And I finished 6th in MVP voting the year before that. So my game was at the next level. So now I'm like, you talking top 2. I was already, Larry Bird had me top 10 in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So that was devastating. I wasn't really able to bounce back. I came back the next year. I was still going through a lot, and then I got traded. Things started to set in. So then when I went to Sacramento, I told Rick Adams, I said, listen, I'm gonna try to retire. So I was like, I just need you. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. I'm telling you first.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep me on the bench, play me every now and then. I go in there, but make it look like I'm not playing well. And I'm gonna ease out of here. And then Rick was like, he said, hell no. He said, we going as far as you're going to take it. We had a long talk. Rick Adams said, we going as far as you're going to take us. And we had a great talk. He was like a father figure kind of. And then as he started to, give me that confidence, and that positive energy back, we was like, I think 11th place. I got there in January. So I was like, all right, cool. We're going to go to the playoffs. So I told me to be going to the playoffs. They was like, no, you're not. So I was 273 pounds at this time. So I play at 248. At this time, I play at 248. So I'm 273. When I decided to get it back going. So it took me a while to work my way in shape. We went to the playoffs, played pretty well. I started to really pick it up. And Kenny Smith, I was like second half MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I still made first team all defense that year too. I was still pretty solid. And then at that point, with that talk with Rick Adelman, I was started to figure out ways to get over it. But it took a while. So then I reached out to John Green and threw it through the bear. I was just trying to have all this hate in me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I reached out to John Green. He was super surprised when I reached out to him, just what's going on? This is between man and man. So I was able to really find the good out of that situation. But it took a long time.
Yeah.
Then you got the fans. I'm not worried about fans and people talking trash. I can handle all that.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit annoying because on the flip side, I do so much social impact. I'm doing all this work, and what's being pushed out there is not necessarily what I would like to be.
Right.
Kind of pushed out there.
Right.
So it took me a while to kind of get over it.
I know I dealt with the guilt of it when I broke my leg, and at that time I had an older D West, and then the veterans of Danny Granger, Roy Hibbert. But more so, I felt the guilt for D West, who was pushing that age, and he was kind of closing that window to win a championship. Shout out D West. He went on ahead after he left us and went and won a chip in Golden State. But that guilt of, damn, I didn't. It wasn't intentionally that I broke my leg, but I just knew after that happened, that window closed. Did you kind of have that guilt after, because you were on the rise? You said it yourself. You started to feel even more confident in the league. Your numbers was going up, and it felt like you were really coming into the player that you wanted to be. Did you have any guilt towards like, damn, did I close that window for Reggie?
Oh, 100%. It was so much. But yeah, the Reggie, that was there. The city of Indiana, great city. Jermaine, Larry. Larry was probably the one I really felt, the worst, because I was with him every day in the summertime, even along with Chuck. But Larry gave me his time, which is why I think I'm still like indebted to Indiana. I love Indiana. It's my favorite team.
Yeah.
All that stuff, my favorite city. And then Reggie, because it was a short window of opportunity. Even though I couldn't predict that. Like, I was really working on myself at that time. I was seeing my therapist after practice every time. I was doing my thing. I didn't engage with Ben Wallace. Everybody was saying, why you didn't engage with Ben Wallace? Well, if I engaged with Ben Wallace at that time, that's a tech.
Right.
I already lost a lot of money in suspensions.
Right.
All right, I gotta look like a punk on TV. I gotta eat that.
Yeah.
I gotta eat that. Even though I'm heavier than Ben. I'm not scared of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like engaged. I'm trying to like really stay focused, because what people don't realize, the year before that in the playoffs, Rip Hamilton baited me into a flagrant. The game was tied 67-67 to go back to Indiana. He hit me in the groin. It shows it clear on TV. Should have been an offensive foul. They didn't call it. I elbow him in the face. Tech on me. 2 free throws, and they score. They go up 4. We was the best team in the league, right, that year. They go up 4 and then win by 4, go to the championship, and beat the Lakers. So now I'm sick, So I'm like, this next year, I ain't getting it, no problem. So I'm working on myself all summer, practicing, doing exactly what my therapist is telling me what to do. And then boom, like this cup come hit me in the face. I was not ready for that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like all my only problems are gonna be on the court.
Right.
If me and Paul Pierce start Jordan, walk the other way. I wasn't prepared for if a fan
Throws
smacked
a
me in the
cup
back
at
of the head.
Right.
Oh, all right, cool. If a fan smacked me, yeah, don't respond. All right, we wasn't prepared for that.
Because I think now listening to it, you checked all the boxes of composure.
Super disciplined.
Until the flying cup. And then at that point, it was just like, oh, hell no.
Checked, I'm going to whoop your ass.
I was shocked. I was super shocked,
Man.
And it was like you knew instantly.
I saw
who did it.
Yeah, everybody tried to say I hit the wrong fan,
wrong person, right? I remember
got
that.
super quick reflexes.
Yeah.
I was like,
Bible.
Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching.
It was the right person.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
Pinpoint right person. Yeah, you got how I play defense. I see everything.
Right.
I'm steps ahead of people. So you told me I'm gonna see that quick. Boom, boom, boom. It came from that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, the crazy thing was that the guy who hit me, he betted the guy who when I got hit. The dude was like, "Oh, ain't no game was happening at that time."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Nothing happened.
Right. So he gave it a dead
He said,
giveaway.
I bet you can't hit him.
So I wish you would never did that. Actually, I would not know who did it.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? But as I went into the stands and you see him like, oh, this motherfucker coming towards me. Then, and the guy, so he bet John Green $50, because John told me.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
When I reached out to him, I would have never known if I didn't reach out to him. I'm just stressed this whole time thinking it's all me. And when I found out that story, I felt way better about myself.
I was about to say.
Kind of,
what I
yeah.
mean?
It would definitely close the chapter.
I'm like,
on that.
I'm like, damn.
Now the world knows.
$50 bet. But they don't really talk about that.
Right.
They
Right.
Yeah.
They don't really talk
So
about that.
after all of that happened, right? Before the next season, you did a shoot with Sports Illustrated, right? On the cover with Larry Bird. And on the headline, it said, "You may not love Ron Artest, but Larry does." Talk about that relationship. You said that you spent that summer with Larry. Talk about that relationship with Larry.
Larry's incredible. Larry believed in me. I would watch Larry's tape, come back, talk to Larry about what I saw that he did. He would tell me why he did what he did, the moves he made. We would put it into practice every day. Chuck Person leading the practice. And then literally I come back the next year, I'm averaging 18 and 24. So I owe Larry a lot of that. Sometimes, you're on the court playing, so you walk with that swag, but you got to pay homage. If I wasn't working with Larry, maybe 19, 20, Larry was going to take my career to the next level. So that was really a bummer because if I would have been with Larry, I would probably I don't know, maybe 28 at one time. I would have stayed with Larry.
If you would have stayed in Indy for
stayed in Indy,
Yeah.
more consistency. I was shooting 20 times a night, all that stuff.
Did he take you fishing?
Nah, just the gym.
Okay.
I've never seen Larry outside the gym.
Yeah.
Never had lunch, breakfast.
Yeah, because I had a pretty good relationship with Larry, and we connected obviously through basketball. But I grew up fishing and loved fishing since I was a little kid, and you know he's got a big pond out in Indiana, and he would invite me there. I never got a chance to go because as soon as the summers, I'm right back to LA. So I never like actually got a chance to go and hang out with him on his pond, but. I had a great relationship with him. He always like he's one of the best at like just giving if he rocks with you. Because he don't rock with everybody.
I know.
But if you are one of his guys, he gonna give you everything that he has in his toolbox to try to help you. He would literally never miss a practice, I don't think, since I was in
I've
Indiana.
never seen him miss a practice either.
He'd come in there, slacks on, you know, that slow walk, and then he'll come prop and sit. Literally, if we was in that little brick gym, right in the middle in that first bleacher, or he'll go up a couple steps. If we in a big gym, he'll go and like go up maybe the 5th row or something like that and sit courtside or sit in the middle.
Yeah, Larry gave us time, man. That's why I love Larry to this day, man. He gave us time.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get a chance to talk about it much publicly. And I'm not doing a lot of stuff, but yeah, he gets much props.
Yeah. And he also helped because, you know, he would tell me about like getting open and freeing myself off screen. So he actually gave me a edit of how Reggie Miller used to get open and you know the ways that he would, you know, use screens and stuff like that. So he kind of helped me early in my career on how to like kind of pivot through getting through screens offensively. And free yourself up off pin downs and stuff like that.
He kind of helped me with being decisive. Just like you see it's there, just take it. You know, which I'm like, damn, that easy? He said, yep, you see it, take it. And that took my game to the next level, along with helping my shooting, getting my elbow in, like a bunch of stuff on my jab steps and all this stuff.
Yeah, shout out Big Bird, man. Shout out L Bird.
Doing commercials now.
Yeah.
Larry, he's doing a lot of commercials.
Doing a lot of commercials.
Is it an insurance?
Influencer.
He was Affleck, right?
Yeah, it's like there's a bird in the look it up, something like that. Metta, after you played for the Sacramento Kings for 3 seasons, you moved to Houston to play with one of the most influential NBA players in Yao Ming. Walk us through what it was like, not only just playing with Yao, but also being able to play alongside Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, that was incredible. I was coming right from Sac. And at this time, I didn't have many options with teams because my history and the trust, right? So I had very few options. And so I remember going to Houston, and that's a whole another story in terms of being there 1 year. Wasn't my fault, but I'm thinking I was going to play a lot. You know, we had Shane. Shane's incredible. I'm thinking maybe, you know, I'm just going there overconfident. Or me and T-Mac got this. So I was playing like, you know, I was playing like maybe 8 minutes a game, you know, in my prime, you know, for the first, 20 games. Sometimes I get in 2 minutes. So I remember being super frustrated, but I said, you know what? You know, I kind of messed my career up too. I just play. I know how to play team ball. So cool. I'm gonna get in with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Got to do what I gotta do. They're gonna sub me right out. All right, cool. So I started to submit to that. At that time, T-Mac was incredible in practice, seeing the floor, but then he hurt his back, and so he was out. T-Mac was out. I don't even know, maybe 20 games in. So then I was starting, played pretty well. You know, played pretty well, and then playing alongside Yao. Yao was obviously number 1 option. I was number 2 option during that time. And we played well. I thought we was going to win the title that year. Yao broke his foot. People don't say that. They would disagree. I was with Sasha the other day. He said, you know, y'all would have lost anyway. And we did beat y'all game 1 by 20.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't have an answer. Yao broke his foot game 3. We was up first quarter.
Yeah.
And at that point, I wish I would have never, ever like worried as much as I did, because when Yao broke his foot, I'm like, dang, we lost our big dog. You know, so I was like depleted. You know what I mean? But we still took him to 7. You know, at those times, you know, when somebody hurt themselves, that's why it's important to move on. Not like you don't care about the player, but you got to like, I wish I would have moved on. We lost, you know, game 7, but I was like 25 that series. I was playing pretty well.
Yeah. I know Shane came out and said that T-Mac was probably one of the most underrated passers or best passers that he played with. And T-Mac was like one of my favorite players up there with Kobe. Like, what was some of the things that stood out about T-Mac where you was like, man, this dude he's just different when you see him up close now?
He's unselfish. Definitely want the ball all the time, but he making that play.
Yeah.
He wasn't always trying to get the assists. Definitely a couple good hockey assists, and he had game. He could shoot. He was still playing pretty well, except when his back hurt. He would have to miss practice.
Yeah,
he could for sure pass. He was finding everybody. You know, it was, if he wasn't hurt, you know, I don't know. I think we win it, honestly.
Yeah.
I think we win it.
And then a healthy Yao too.
And a healthy Yao, you know, it was really tough to beat us.
I want to ask you a whole bunch of questions about Kobe Bryant because y'all got a lot of videos on the internet where you always been up in his face when y'all was battling in the playoffs, like y'all was going at it. I just want to know, what was the battles like against Kobe Bryant? And we all know Kobe. What type of mind games did he play with you?
Kobe's incredible, man. R.I.P. Kobe, man. I miss Kobe. Even when I was when I came over to the West, because me and Kobe, we missed a lot of years playing against each other. Because I was suspended, I would miss games. I was out for a whole year. Dude, I missed him for 3-4 years. You know, and I was like the best defender, I guess, on the wing at that point in time. When I got to Sacramento, we was able to see each other 4 times a year. He played very well. You know, by the way, you know, he played very well. And it was just like, you know, if he got 40, I don't want him to get 42 type of thing. Yeah. You know? So I'm still guarding him hard every time. But he wasn't playing mind games. Kobe's just tough.
Right.
You know, it's just like you can't, you know, be out the night before. He gonna give you 60. Yeah. You know? So I think he scored 40 on me once maybe. But even the other games, you know, he was super consistent and strong. He never backed down. I would push him and move him and stuff. And he would just be right there.
Yeah.
That's probably what he loved.
Wanting all of it.
Yeah. He wanted all the smoke.
All of it. It was super surprising because you see, you know, some players, you know, maybe too strong at this point in time. And then in Houston, you know, it's the same thing. I was actually scoring the ball. I was scoring the ball a little bit better in Houston. And then the next year, for us to play with each other, that was super ironic. But I actually interviewed him because I wanted to show him how much I love him. Because even though when I played against him, it wasn't like, hey, let me get your number after this.
Right.
You know, I didn't want him to think I ain't like him. So I actually reached out to him. I said, Fox, I want to interview Kobe. So when I interviewed him, I made sure I was like super humble in the chair. You know, Kobe, I love you. You know what I mean? Great interview. I wanted to pay homage to him. You know, I love Kobe game. He reminded me of Michael Jordan. Yeah. Michael Jordan, my favorite player. So when I see Kobe, I see that, but you got to play against him. It's like, all right, cool. You know, all bets is off at this point.
Right.
Incredible guy. I miss Kobe.
Yeah. We all do.
Yeah.
Man. I want to talk about the 2010 NBA Finals when your ass scored 15 points in game 1 and then you was doo-doo the rest of it. You was doo-doo. I'm going to say doo-doo. But you redeemed yourself. I need you to tell me what gave you that confidence and everything that you needed to go out there and win that finals, man.
I mean, you got to think about it. During that season, people said, you know, Ron Artest is not good. Basically, he fell off. So I got to eat that. You know, you don't get worse from May going up against the champs, averaging 20 plus till September. It's only 4 months. You don't get worse. But when you're playing with Kobe, you know, initially I asked for a trade. I told Mitch, I said, I don't think I could be here. I'm in my prime. Trying to get a contract. You know what I mean? So I had to submit to that. I had to be like, all right, cool. It's over. There's no numbers to put up. You know? And I'm playing with Kobe. So as I'm going through everything, I'm just like, I actually really like being here. I really like being with Kobe. You know, so I'm just gonna be the best role player I could be at this point in my prime. Every game that he didn't play, I averaged 19. Which people don't really, the first time there, I was averaging 19 every game he didn't play. You know? I had to actually go back and tally it all up. 'Cause I was just questioning myself. I'm at home like, damn, I'm really garbage. So I'm like, I said, hold on, let me look at these stats. I said, damn, I'm averaging 18.9.
You was like, I do that.
It was about 20 games.
Yeah.
I knew I was nice.
It's Kobe.
I knew I was nice.
It's just cold.
He's like, Kobe hogging
Kobe,
the ball.
look at
It's
this.
Kobe. It's Kobe. He hogging.
But then like, so, it was times he'd need you. So every closeout, I had 20 in the first closeout game. I had 26 in the Phoenix closeout game. You know what I mean? So I was ready when I was needed to be ready. But then sometimes, Kobe just don't necessarily need you.
Mm-hmm.
He had 25 straight points in game 5. I'm not needed.
Right.
I remember we in game 5, he's scoring all the points, right? So I'm playing defense. And actually game 3 in Boston, I hit my first 2 threes. I felt great. But, that was it. It was no more shots. I was on fire with just 2 shots. So in game 5, he just scoring from the 3rd to the 4th. And I remember watching him. And I'm like, damn, this nigga is nice. Right? So for like a couple possessions, I'm just watching him. And then I had to snap out of it. 'Cause I'm like, damn, back doors, Paul moving. So I had to focus on the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just watching him like, damn, he is nice. We lost that game. And then Phil Jackson came to me in the locker room. He was like, yo, I need you to score the rock. I said, oh, really? I said, Brian. I said, say no more. So then game 6, I had 18 in the game. Game 7, I had 20. I said, he really need me right now?
Yeah.
So that's why I scored.
How was that? Because it's gotta be like you got a front row seat of what we all grew up watching, of Kobe just going crazy. So it had to be at some moments you just looking like, man, like what is going on? Like, talk to us a little bit about that. Like that front row seat to watch Kobe doing what he do in his prime, game winners, tough shots, 3 on them. Like,
yeah, it's incredible. It was really. I didn't understand it. So my first practice, I'm like, I can't wait to get. I love practice, so I can't wait to get to practice. So first practice, Kobe came where he know the smoke is coming.
yeah,
So we was John going at it. He was playing well offensively. And I'm doing my smart, fundamental, strong angles on defense. It's drawing, clashing. And that's how our practices was. It was super competitive, but now, and then we got to go out there and we start together. So every night we together on the wings.
So did he purposely wanted to go on the other team, or did y'all purposely want to go opposite?
Well, initially, Coach Jackson had us, guess who is a training camp. So you'll be on some, you don't even know what team you're going to be on. The different drills, fireman drill.
Yep.
And then we was drawing a lot, disrupting practice. He just put us on the same team. I was a starter, so I don't know what that was, but we never, ever played on opposite teams.
Okay.
I think part of it was to keep us, honestly, from drawing so
Keep
much.
practice going.
Yeah. Different drills will be drawing, you know what I mean? Which he loved it, I loved it. And it brought us closer.
Yeah.
It really brought us closer. We never had lunch, didn't do none of that stuff. But on the court, I can execute with the best of them. So I never had an issue with Kobe, on the court. Definitely incredible, man. Watching him was just like, I thought about it the other day. I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, damn, I got a chance to play with Kobe side by side for 5 years. And I was thinking about it. Like, damn, that's super special.
Beyond.
Man, that's you're in the 1% of the 1%. Like,
man,
it's hard to be in the
Trevor.
league. Yeah. The TA, like that was just a great group. And
Devin George.
I was a fan of all
George.
of those teams growing up, in Southern California and watching you guys. And, so this is honestly, this is dope for me to be able to have these stories here, man. Because, growing up watching my favorite player, like, y'all did something special there. So
Yeah, same here, man. Watching you play both ways.
yeah,
I used to love watching 2-way players, man. You, Kawhi. As I was retiring, still being competitive, I'm not able to do what I used to. And then seeing guys like yourself do it on both ends, it was super, just kind of encouraging. I'm a super fan of the game too.
Yeah. Love that. Appreciate you.
Definitely.
There are so many streaming apps, it can be hard to even find what you want to watch. But there's a way to outsmart the system. Prime Video.
It has all my live sports and docs in one app, like Giannis, The Marvelous Journey, and the National Women's Soccer League, both included with Prime.
Plus, you can buy Premier Boxing or stream the NHL and NBA playoffs on Max with the Bleacher Report Sports ad on or add Paramount Plus for the Masters on CBS.
Prime Video is all of your favorite sports in one place. Restrictions apply. Prime membership is required for add-on subscriptions. See Amazon.com/Prime Video for details.
Well, guess we're going to do this because it's one of my favorite segments of the show. Rated PG. And you don't know about this, we're going to break it down so you can know. But first, Rated PG is sponsored by Prime Video, your all-in-one destination for live sports, hit movies, TV, and plenty more. Find your happy place. Now, PG, Rated PG, this is how it works so you can know how it plays. PG basically goes and takes an underrated player that nobody probably know, and he rates them on their skills and give us a little bit of, we should be watching them now.
Playoff edition, right?
Yeah, this is a playoff. I was going to get to that. So, this... I want him to pick this time on the a young player since it's the second round of the playoffs on the West Coast. Give me a young player who out there we need to be watching or who been balling.
Well, I'm gonna go on the East, and actually, it's not the reason I picked this player, but he actually plays for the Pacers at this moment. Young guy, Andrew Nembhard,
balling.
Being able to watch him, he's a two-way player, and he's been taking a tough task of trying to stop Jalen Brunson, which is damn near impossible. Jalen's been getting his numbers, but he's working to get them numbers.
Yeah.
But I do like Nembhard's, game. I think he showed, that he has flashes of at some point maybe being a point that can feature and run the offense. I know it's tough now with Tyrese being the, prime ball handler, but I do think Andrew Nembhard could have a solid career and come into his own. And I've been liking how he plays. I think he has the confidence, the playmaking, the toughness, the grittiness. And I didn't know much about him, but he's definitely shown that he can, take that prime matchup. So shout out Andrew Nembhard, shout out the Pacers. Hopefully they continue to hold it down.
So now y'all can start watching him, and whoever you wasn't watching him. Pay attention.
You ain't watching him, watch him now.
Pay attention.
He's good.
He's real good.
It's some big shots.
Yeah.
Play with him on 2K, kids. He good. Play with him. So what about you? Metta, you got anybody that you want to let anybody start looking at?
I think very similar to why I love Michael Jordan was his defense. I think Anthony Edwards, I know everybody's making comparisons and some people agree, some people don't, but I think his defense is super, it's super impressive. He got a big block, in the first round. He's spending all that energy on offense and he's giving effort on defense. So his defense is what, I think people should look out for.
Love that. Yeah. His defense has been amazing. And, he out there calling us old and shit when we play. Like he talking that talk. But in a competitive, like not like a cocky or not like a, anything's gonna leave from this game type of talk. It's just in the spirit of the game.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I appreciated it, but it is crazy. Like he's literally, when he checks me, and he's trying to match up with me every time.
Wow.
And he trying to get a stop. Like it's some people that play defense and they just want to slide their feet and show that they can stay in front of you. But it's another thing when you got actual defenders that, I'm coming to get the rock. Like, I'm not just sliding my feet. I'm trying to get the rock.
That's impressive.
And that's how he plays defense. So shout out Ant Edwards. I love that pick and the shout out and the nod for his defensive
step it up.
So there you have it.
We hate for this to end like this because we have such a wonderful guest. And we got to wrap the show up. Metta World, Run, all these names you got.
I did bring, I don't know if you
Did you get?
Oh, man, I ain't nothing like a gift now.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Come
A little
on.
background, P.
So I got these sent to me from a fan, but I thought it was perfect.
Oh, damn, this is great. Little Pacer Piston.
And I thought, it was
Take them out and show us.
perfect to
Take 'em
gift it
out.
to the legend.
That's a
these is
timely
dope.
gift.
It is a timely
That's a
gift.
timely gift.
Yeah, it's
So
dope.
I think it's a shoe
So he
that
got
represents.
the Indiana
It's a shoe that
Pacers,
represents the
Rockets.
Malice of the Palace. But
these
you know,
is-
He like, I'm gonna meet y'all
speaking of
to
closure, I think
They for me.
it's something to kind of wrap all of that together.
I actually seen these before.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually seen these before. I was like, what? Somebody on Instagram was on my DM. And I was like, I looked at it. Nah, but definitely dope.
Now they in your possession.
Yeah, now you're getting gifts for it.
Now
Who'da
they in your
thought?
possession.
There we
Dope,
go.
thanks,
Well,
man. I
hey,
appreciate
OG,
you.
we appreciate you taking out your time to come see us and hang out at Podcast
Thank you so
P.
much. Thank
That is
you.
a wrap on the episode, ladies
Come
and gentlemen.
on.